Mental health has been severely impacted as a result of the COVID pandemic, but many people thought that their anxiety and depression would go away once life started returning to normal. But experts are noticing that hasn't been the case at all. Joining us today from McNulty Counseling and Wellness is Emily Camera. She's a licensed clinical social worker. Welcome to Bloom, Emily.
Thanks so much for having me.
This is super distressing. Not only are we not getting over anxiety and depression, it's getting worse after COVID?
Yes. So for the past year and a half, we have been training our brains and training our bodies to see the outside world as dangerous, and rightfully so, right? You know, COVID has been life-threatening and life-altering for so many of us, and everyone has been touched by COVID in some ways much more disastrously than others, not just in loss of life, but jobs, housing, debt, the list goes on and on. And so what's happening now is we're finally trying to tell our brains it's safe. We're finally trying to tell ourselves, you can go to a restaurant again. You can go to the movie theater again. And our brains are saying, but hang on, that's not how I've been functioning for so long. So it's almost like having to reteach our brains that outside and other people and social interaction is safe again. And so what we're noticing is that a lot of people are having what look like trauma responses as life starts to return to normal, and almost like the adrenaline from the pandemic has started to subside. We're left then with this panic of, well, what now?
That's right. And a lot of people don't know how to handle all of this, right? So what are some of the signs that we should look for that maybe it's time to get help?
Absolutely. Continuing to avoid normal life, continuing to struggle with intense fear in going out in public. One of the things doctors have coined it coronasomnia, which
I've heard of it. Yep.
So if you notice that you're not sleeping as much, or you're really struggling to fall asleep, that being in places that are slightly more crowded or seeing people without masks on is extremely anxiety inducing. All of those things are normal. And they are your brain's normal, natural way of trying to protect you from something that we've told it is scary.
But we have to do it. We have to get back to normal. So what advice do you have for us to maybe take baby steps to re-enter a post-COVID world?
And that's exactly it. Take baby steps. If you're in a place where you're not ready to go to a crowded restaurant, order takeout and maybe go eat at a park. Go to places, go to the beach later in the day when it's not so crowded. Give yourself opportunities to be exposed to things that are scary and stressful, but in a way that's a little more manageable. Allow yourself to move at a pace that feels comfortable for you. Possibly even making a list of what are the things that I need to get back to doing, and what are the things that I want to get back to doing, and what on that list is the least intimidating. And then we start there.
And I'm sure, like with everything that's difficult, it's nice if you have somebody there to help you along the way. What can we do as loved ones if we're seeing that, maybe our spouse or our kids are having these symptoms?
Absolutely. One of my favorite questions to ask the people I love, and one of my favorite questions to be asked by the people I love, is, how can I show up for you? What do you need from me? How can I share this moment with you in a way that makes it a little less scary? Fortunately for many of us, we lost a lot of things through the pandemic. One of the things that we didn't lose was our ability to be empathetic, our ability to love, our ability to be loved.
Maybe we gained it more.
Yes. And so, finding some patience, encouraging the people that we love to say, like, hey, this is going to be okay. And it's okay also to be in a place where you are worried with all the what ifs. And sitting and worrying about what if doesn't stop what if from happening.
Oh, that's such a good point. So it's a waste of time to think that way. Change the way you think. Such an inspiring conversation. A lot of good info. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And if all of you would like more information, visit McNultyCounseling.com. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.